Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites. How are we feeling? Why do we feel like it's been forever since we did our live stream? It's the usual time. And it's not like the weekend went so slow. It went extra fast. But anyway, how y'all doing? How's everybody feeling? Hopefully your weekend went well. Thank you, Mike Jones, for kicking off the contribution. Good afternoon, Crimson Cure. Is it me or did Eboni K age a little bit? Listen, we're going to talk about a couple of things. And how you doing, Ebony? Because we just going to talk about it. But thank you so much. And thank you for your contribution as well, Steve. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. Yusuf said, love you, Mrs. Kendra, the wise one. Thank you for that. That's interesting to me because my Muslim name actually means that. That's interesting. Thank you for that as well. Thank you, Devon, for your super sticker, sweetheart. I appreciate all of the love early on. I appreciate everyone. So, Miss Eboni K, po thing. How you doing, Miss Ebony? How you doing, sweetheart? You know, I have roasted you in the past. I called you little mouth. I called you chicken boo at one point. I remember the roast. But today is not going to be that. Today is not going to be that. Matter of fact, I'm going to apologize for calling her chicken boo and calling her little mouth, even though it was given chicken boo at one point. Because Ebony has bigger problems. Ebony going through it, y'all. Ebony going through it. She going through it. Y'all said don't apologize. Yeah, I'm trying to be diplomatic. I'm trying to be diplomatic today. Y'all. Because Miss Ebony is going through it, y'all. Miss Ebony going through it. And I don't feel sorry for her because, first of all, I don't think she would want pity. Second of all, she don't deserve it because where she's at in her life is a result of all of her conscious choices. If you don't know, you might be too young if you don't know who Chicken Boo is. Chicken Boo, if you ever watch the Animaniacs, then you know who he's not a man, he's a chicken boo. It's Chicken Boo. So I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I feel sorry for her because I do not. The only reason I'm talking about it is because she did an interview. Shout out to the brother who conducted the interview because I'm going to use the clips of his show. So hopefully he doesn't mind. And within the various different topics that she talked about, I am so mad because sidebar, girl talk. Okay, these are my nails, right? These are my nails. I don't have tips on. I don't have fake nails on. I just have an acrylic overlay on my nails. And it's time for a soak off. But before I could get to the nail shop tomorrow, this finger, the acrylic, popped off. Okay. And then I had to file it. And then the nail underneath it got weak. And it because it was just as long as the other ones. And then then I had to file it. Oh, I'm too mad. Anyway, back to the routine. Because you can see, because this nail is breaking underneath it. Because when my nails grow long, they curve. So I start out with squares, and then when they get long, they become ballerinas on their own. So they pulling away from the acrylic. And that's why I gotta get a soak off and redo the acrylic, because baby, we can't do this. We can't do this. I told you these my nails under here. Anyway. Anyway, I'm gonna get to the super chats that I see, but we need to get to this video. She, among the things that she talks about, she revisits the conversation that she had with Iyanla. She kind of does a little bit of revisionist history with that conversation, a little bit, adding context that was not there. So we just kind of gonna get into it. I got to chop this nail down, y'all. This one. Now, in order to equal the other nails, and I'm gonna have to put a tip on this one. I don't want a tip. Why would I want? I don't want a tip. When your nails are really this length, what? Y'all could tell I feel away. Anyway. Now, we're gonna start, because this is where she begins to go back over her conversation. Is she aware that conversation went viral? Baby, we got the receipts for that conversation. You know what? Let me just.
Yeah. I saw Iyanla on The Breakfast Club, and she made a statement, and I'm paraphrasing, but not very much. It's almost exact. Iyanla Vanzant said, not even young. A lot of Black women today are operating as men in skirts. They are occupying a masculine posture in their relationships and in society, and it needs to stop. And
I don't know what that means.
You said you don't know what that means?
No.
Oh, I know exactly what she meant, right?
What does that mean?
What she meant was, and she did expound. Basically, she's saying women, and I'm putting my hand in the air. What do they say? Hit dog holla. I was hit. I was like, oh, this one's for me. Dr. Vanzant says women today are so preoccupied by building and protecting and providing and making the money and being the boss and being overeducated and overemployed and all of that they're too busy occupying spaces that are traditionally for men. And so while we look feminine, we've got our lashes and some of us have our BBLs and all of the things. I'm just, that's what you're saying. And our Balmain, our Christian Louboutins. Aesthetically, we present feminine, but in terms of core values and how we show up in the world, we are masculine. We are providing, we are building, we are taking care of versus relaxing into our feminine energy and being taken care of. So instead of being taken care of, we are taking care. And she was challenging us to do better as women.
And the implicit thing is you're only going to get a man when you're in your feminine energy.
Correct. And I was not in disagreement.
And that hurt you?
No, it's not. No, it didn't hurt me to
Did you feel reflected in that comment?
Absolutely. I felt like I was the exact type of woman Iyanla was referring to.
Is that happening in your life, that men are repelled because you are as strong and as making as much money? And
well, I don't know if they are repelled, but I know I am repelled.
You were repelled by?
I am repelled because I feel challenged in meeting and partnering with a man that I feel can protect and provide for me as well as I can do for myself.
I can take care of myself. So why do I need you?
No, I would love to need you, but you have to overperform. See what I'm saying? Like,
does he have to retire you?
No.
Does he have to come in equal to you?
He had to come in equal to me. And Iyanla's saying, well, if we as these skirt wearing men, if we relaxed off of doing, basically she's saying we're doing too much.
And so this surmising of I actually be wanting to make this even smaller. Anyway, I actually be wanting to make that smaller. You know what? They need to be able to resize that. Anyway, her surmising of what Iyanla said on the Breakfast Club, and I recall when Iyanla said that, her surmising, because her interview with Iyanla happened just after that, I do believe. So her summary of that conversation is accurate. Iyanla was essentially saying that, I guess because I can't see myself. You know what? I didn't hear Anton say that, but that's exactly who he is. Anyway, you know what? That could be because this little box is getting on my nerve. Her summary of that conversation is accurate. What essentially what Auntie Iyanla was saying was that the women like her, like Eboni, had essentially become the men that they were looking for. In a nutshell, that is what Auntie Iyanla was saying. That these women are so busy in their masculine energy of achieving and money and career and providing and blah, 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 that these women ended up becoming and occupying the space of the men that they said that they were looking for. Okay? Which she is, Iyanla is not wrong. She's absolutely right when she says that. Women, especially the boss chick type that Eboni is, the boss, I get in, and I run stuff, and I got my hand in this pot, and I got my hand in that pot, and da 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 da. She has become the man she's looking for. And the man that she's looking for doesn't want her, because the man that she's looking for doesn't want a woman that is occupying his space. He doesn't want it. It is as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. He doesn't want a woman that is occupying the masculine space, because if she is occupying the masculine space and he is occupying the masculine space, who's in the feminine space? There are only two spaces, and somebody's got to go in them. And the type of man that Eboni is looking for, the type of men she's actually surrounded by, are always in the masculine space. So when they come around a woman who is also in the masculine space, he consciously and subconsciously dismisses her as wife material, as spousal potential, because she has presented in masculine energy. And that doesn't, and let me expound on that, because Eboni kind of said it. She's like, we present feminine in clothing, hair. She's got her makeup on. She's got her perfume on. She's got a nice skirt or a nice business suit or a nice pantsuit or whatever she's got on. She's got her heels on. She's got her purse. She's got all of these things that are the trappings of female dress. But she doesn't have a female mind. She has a masculine mind. She has the mind of a man. She has the mind of a man. Right? She's got the outlook of a dude, which translates into her energy. So there is this certain air of, the type of man that Eboni wants is what would be called not even alpha. It's like a master of the universe type of guy. Okay? She's going to explain it. He's the master of the universe archetype. He commands any room. He's got his hands in every pot. He knows a little bit about everything. He can tell you, he can give you some guidance and some tips and some advice, a little bit about everything. Wealth comes easy to him. Sexual energy is easy. Masculine energy is easy. His leadership is readily available. And he also has the sensitivity and as what is being popularly talked about now, the emotional intelligence. He understands women well. So therefore, he gives her the space to be feminine. He knows how to handle a female's chaos and all of that type of stuff. He knows how to do that. All of these things. She thinks it only comes in one package. She thinks that type of mentality only comes in one package. When we talk about levels, because he asked her, the brother Torre asked her, does the man that you are looking for have to retire you? She said no. He said, does he have to come in equal with you? She said, equal with me. But what's equal? Equal in what way? Equal how? Because just because you have made, and I've said this ad nauseum, just because you have made a certain amount of money is not reflective of who you are and what kind of woman you are. See, I want to talk about something to y'all. And I want to tell this to Miss Eboni. I want to tell this to Miss Eboni. I wish she'd just come on into the chat so we can have a conversation, because I know she watched the show. Miss Eboni. And I want to tell this to other women who are about her age, because Miss Eboni is about my age. Let me see. Miss Eboni is 40. Miss Eboni is 40. She says she was born September 9th in 1983. So Miss Eboni is about 5 years younger than me. Precisely. Precisely, babe. If he got all that, he got spirituality, something she can't handle. And see, we're going to get to that. But before we get to the spirituality piece, Miss Eboni is about 5 years younger than me. So Miss Eboni, we in the same, basically we in the same generation. Okay. What is she, an old millennial? She's either the last of the Xers or she's the oldest of the millennials. Either way. We about the same age, baby. Let me explain something to y'all. To the ladies. I know there's a lot of rhetoric, and this is why I named it the Undefeated Wall. There's a lot of rhetoric in the so-called red pill or female accountability space about the wall. There is a lot of rhetoric about after a woman is 35, men don't find her attractive and they don't want her as a wife. That's partially true. And then there's more to that than just that piece. It's not just your age. For the ladies who have never been married before in their life and they have approached 40, never had a serious relationship, never had any kind of marriage at all in all the years that you've been grown and sexually active. It's not just your age. Factors that is keeping a woman like Eboni perpetually single It's not your age. I just got married this year. I turned 45 this year. It's not your age. Yes, it's true. We not as hot as we used to be when we was in our 20s and we was in our 30s and blah, 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 blah. You don't look the same. Your body ain't the same. You ain't as tight and firm and this and that. Okay. But it's not your age. Eboni has enough looks in the tank. Although it's interesting that she's 5 years younger than me. That's a little interesting. But Eboni got enough looks in the tank that men her age and older, 50-year-old man is about 10 years her senior. Okay? 50, 53, 50. She got enough looks in the tank for a 52-year-old man to approach her. She's a younger woman to him. Okay? A woman 10 years his junior, 12 years, 13 years his junior. She's a younger woman to him. He will talk to her. She got enough looks. She's a little petite thing. She ain't fat. She ain't ugly. She's none of that. She's put herself together. Okay. He will come talk to her. He will approach her. See, it's cap to say that women older than 35 and 45, men find us attractive. Men find 40-something-year-old women attractive. These women are not fading into the dust. Especially if she look like something. Okay? The problem is not that you just got too old. The problem is not your career, Miss Eboni. It's not your money. It's not the fact that you have a career. It's not that. The men are not intimidated. They not scared. They not none of that. It's not the amount of money that you may make annually. He not worried about that. That's not keeping you single. Okay? No, Eboni does not have children. It's not even the mindset of the men that you're looking for that's unacceptable. The only thing keeping these kinds of women single is their mindset. Ironically, she talk about values, but she doesn't have a good value system. She doesn't have a good value system. The sad part is that Eboni is an intelligent person. Whatever else she is, she's not stupid. She sees where she is. She sees where she's at. And she know how she got there. She just can't be wrong now. She can't be, but every interview, she share a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more of, I was wrong. I was wrong. She even outright said it at one point, kind of backtracked it a little bit, but she said, I did not make the right decisions. And she ended up going back to the Breakfast Club. Remember that? When she talked to the other young lady and she was trying to say she had to end up defending the fact that she had said that if Black women want husbands, they need to get their MRS degree, become a Mrs., along with the other degree. Don't wait like she did, right? And then she had to come back out and defend that position after saying, okay, wait, The way I went about that and the way that other women have gone about that has been wrong. It has been ill-advised because we are not in the position that we wanted to be at the age we thought we would be in it. And when I look back and take inventory over the choices that I made, they were wrong because they did not end me up in the outcome that I wanted to be. At 40, I wanted to be a wife to somebody. I wanted to be somebody's mama, and I wanted to have a successful marriage, and I wanted to have, the wealth, money and da 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 da. I wanted all of that. But the decisions that I made, because I pursued my degree and my career, my this and my that, and I put marriage off, I put men off, I delayed that part of my life. Now that when I went looking for it, it was not there. She know where she at, but she ain't learned her lesson. And she may not be able to learn her lesson because she doubles down on this point. I'm not quite gonna take a commercial break, but we're gonna watch a little bit of this clip. I'm going to take a look at the super chats, and then we'll continue.
She's saying women today are doing too much. They are over-indexing, and they are doing the traditional roles that men should be performing.
So you continue that conversation on your Griot show?
Yes, because I wanted to learn, right? My question to her, so what led to Bus Driver, because I'm going to get there. She says what she says. I says, Dr. Vanzant, I find it fascinating. I don't disagree. You are my, and with full respect, elder, right?
Sure.
You are a veteran.
Sure.
I think Iyanla's almost 70 years old, right? You are someone that I
She's
am in
wise.
a posture of learning from. Correct?
Sure.
So when you say this, I want to better understand. What do you recommend? Woman to woman, elder to mentee. Teach me, Iyanla, what should women like myself be doing when we are afraid? We are afraid, Dr. Vanzant, that if we don't go get it, go to school, go to more school, get all the degrees, get the big jobs, make the $2, $3, $5 million a year, buy the house, which I've now done in Harlem, right? Buy my real estate, have my baby. If I don't do all of that, I am afraid, Dr. Vanzant, that I will be without it.
Right.
Because I'm not seeing enough evidence with my naked eyes of the quantity of men being able to step into that posture for me.
Right.
I'm looking at my sister to the left.
And that therein is her folly. That is the folly. That she don't get it. That's the folly. She said 2, 3, 4, 5 million. That's the folly. Ebony, Miss Ebony. That's the folly. You don't need 2, 3, 4, $5 million a year of anybody's salary. Now, if you just get in a position or you work your way into a position in life where that's something that you get, alhamdulillah, all praise due to Allah. However, it is not a necessary component of a healthy, prosperous, working, lasting marriage. It is not. It is not necessary for proper provision. A man don't got to make $2, $3, $4, $5 million to take care of no woman and no kids. He don't have to do that. He does not have to do that. That is not a requirement at all. You looked for the wrong thing first, Ebony. boss chicks across the world. You looked for the wrong thing first. You were trying to see if a man could provide a lifestyle. That's your first mistake. You should have been looking for a man that aligned and that you aligned with his values, his purpose, and his vision to ensure the health, to ensure the integrity, and the peace and the lasting of a marriage. That is what you should have been looking for. If you had been looking for a man's spiritual value, health value, family value, appearance value, and dwelling value before you look for his wealth, his leisure, his profession, and his education and his mobility, if you had looked for those first, the second 5 would have been available. You didn't want to build when you were young. Now you're 40 and you really don't want to do it. You didn't want to do it when you were young, and now you're 40, and the older a woman get, the less she actually wants to build in that way, like the grind from the ground up. Do y'all understand that? It's more or less for younger women because you got time. When we become older women, the man that we are with, if we haven't been with our husband the whole time, since we was young into getting old, where you went through all that already, you already did nose to the ground and stone. You already did that. So now that y'all is in y'all 50s and 60s, you're not with your nose to the ground and stone no more. Right? This is why it's important for women to get married younger. Because you get to do that. You get to help build from the ground up. And you're young. You and your husband grow together. You and your husband see the success. You see the setback. You see getting back up on the horse, trying it again, doing it again. You kind of go through the ups and downs and things like that. But you make it through all of that. You done raised your kids already. You ain't still trying to raise no kids and you 55 and you got a 6-year-old and all that kind of stuff. No. If you got married with your husband young in your 20s, and y'all had babies and stuff, by the time you in your 40s, they either already grown and gone or they about to be. If you ain't never had a marriage before and now you are 40, 45, 50 trying to get married, of course you don't want to go through the stuff that 20-something you go through because you're not expecting the man to need it at that age. A 55-year-old man, that's usually, if men are going to see the fruition of their visions, that's usually around the time that they start seeing the fruit of that labor. Men start seeing the fruit of their labors 40s, 50s, sometimes 60s. So he's not in the same grind position that a 20-something, even an early 30-something-year-old man is in. He's not in that position no more, or he shouldn't be. And that doesn't mean that he necessarily got rich at that age. He just, whatever his vision was, he's seeing the fruit of that labor now in his older age. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat if you get what I'm saying. Now, thank you for your ones. I'm going to get to the super chats. Matter of fact, let me get to the super chats. I'm glad y'all understand what I was talking about. Thank you, Amun. Said peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to you, sweetheart, as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Farrell said this year you've been going hard like Ultra Instinct. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike Johnson. Crimson, do you think she's watching your show? When you do a show about Eboni K, you know it's gonna be a good show. I'll be willing to bet that Eboni has tuned into my show. Do I think she watch it all the time? No, but is she unaware of me? No. Thank you, New York G-Man said, continue to cook, Crimson Chef. The wise one works for you, not Kendra G. The most delusional content on all media outlets. Take care. Tell Unc, let's go Giants. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Luciana, for your support. Thank you as well, Miss Lou Casely. Thank you, Common Man said the wall is like the streets. No matter how hard anyone tries, no one is ever going to beat them. They never learn. Some women run the streets and then hit the wall too late. Thank you so much, Bakish, for your super sticker. Thank you so much, Scorched Earth said the fact she has to talk about it publicly shows she lacks the skills to obtain a man. And it also tells us that she is hurt about this. This plagues her. This whole situation plague her. She see them grays in her hair. She look in the mirror. She look at the old pictures of herself, how young and cute and this and that. And it's the same face, but it's not. It's an older woman now. And these realities smack you in your face. Women have a hard time under the best of circumstances to age. Thank you again, Common Man said Eboni is delusional. She's only worth $4 million. She's doing all right, but she has a good chance of being flat broke in 5 years, and she's headed in that direction. Her mouth will break her. Thank you, Mr. Yadig. So thank you, sis, for your hard work in addressing the Black community. Thank you for being the therapy I need. My fellow Illinoisan, Crimson Cure the Truth, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Hey, thank you, Gold Professor. How you doing? Said money for the play. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Indeed, Allah is all in all. Gold Professor. Thank you so much. Thank you, Classy Perspective. That's all the blue collar workers that are married. Invite Miss Williams to the parties and events where married couples reside. Be sure to tell her to bring her husband. That's nasty work right there. Thank you again. Classy Perspectives. A newsflash: your career job doesn't care about you when you die. They're just waiting for the next young group to come into the workforce. This is true. Thank you, Theo, for your contribution as well. Let's go back to her, because I want y'all to hear her talk.
I'm looking at my sword to the right, and I'm seeing women without. And I'm not going to be without. I'm going to just tell you, know me a long time. You know, I'm never going to be without. So therefore, I am afraid to trust what you are suggesting, which is if you wait, he will come. Right. If you do less, it will be provided for you. I want to believe that with everything in me, Torre. I still want to believe that.
Right.
But I am
again. That is not what nobody has said. This is yet another folly in the thought process. Nobody said not to go. If this is why I said the things that's not keeping her single. The career is not keeping you single. Your paycheck not keeping you single. None of that stuff is keeping you single. It's your mindset. It's how you are approaching these men. Listen, these men is talking to that woman. She's surrounded by the men she's talking about. This is not, she trying to tell you that she can't find them. She looking high and low. Meanwhile, she is surrounded by these men. Now, not all of them are available. Some of these men are already married. Some of these men, the type of professional relationship that she have with them or whatever would be inappropriate in order to translate it to a personal relationship at that point. But you can't tell me that she does not see these men every single day. She's surrounded. She told us in the talk that she had with Miss Iyanla that she had tried men from across racial spectrums. So it's not even that she just stayed around black men. All the men that she knows that checks these boxes, they don't want her. They don't want her. She's still trying to twist it around like she's doing the rejecting. She's only doing the rejecting for the men she does not want. Every woman reject men they don't want. That's nothing new. That is not new. Women constantly are in a state of rejection of the men that they don't want. In points of fact, I will argue that that's the natural position of women anyway, to say no first. Now, they doing it for transactional reasons, but if we were to talk about it from a lioness's standpoint, we got to be selective. So it's going to be more no's than it's yes. There's only going to be one yes. These men are approaching Eboni because she looked good enough for them to do so. When they take her for drinks or they take her for dinner or they take her around wherever they take her in order to get to know her, in order to speak to her, in order to try to see if they can build a connection with her, she starts talking. And that's when she get in trouble. Because she in trouble right now. Every time she do an interview, you hear it. And she tries to maybe switch up a little bit, maybe the wording and things of that nature, but she can't help who she is. She's mean-spirited. She's snobby. She's snarky. She gets smart with you real quick. She got bad character. So when these men look at her, when they talk to her, see, this is what let me give you a tip, Eboni. Miss Eboni. Listen, let me tell you something about men, especially older men, and especially men in the group that you are looking for men. Let me tell you something about the men. Them men may be a lot of things. Stupid is not one of them. Those men may be a lot of things, but stupid, it would not be one of them. He didn't get where he get in life. He did not accomplish anything. He was not able to have a vision and then put it together and then execute that vision in his life and for the other people in his life, being stupid. Please stop thinking that you can out-talk and overthink these men that you're talking to. Listen, let me tell you something. When y'all are sitting over martinis, and he start asking you fact-finding questions, like we learned in customer service. You start asking fact-finding questions, discovery questions. You think that he is so enamored that he want to hear you talk about you. And he do want to hear you talk about you, but not for the reason that you think he wants to hear it. He's not smitten. He'll start asking you discovery, aka fact-finding questions about you. He is digging for your mentality, your mindset, your outlook on life, the way your mind works. He'll ask you further questions. Okay? These are clarifying questions. You don't even know you're being tested. The way these men operate, the way a masculine man operates, he just talking to you. See, the way you see it, y'all just having a conversation. And because the conversation's centered on you, you think you having a good conversation. You don't know how he perceiving a conversation. That this is why sometimes, baby, they don't come back and talk to you no more. Because they done heard all they needed to hear. And it wasn't looking good. Wasn't looking good. As you sat across the table with your cute top, your blouse and skirt, or your pretty dress, and your makeup was done just so, and your hair was done just so, you were sitting there just as cute as you wanted to be. And everything that came out your mouth was a red flag to that man. Do you understand? No, you don't understand. Let me keep explaining it to you. Because when you sit there and you try to tell a man about your accomplishments, when you sit there and you try to tell a man what kind of money you done made, and what kind of career you done got, and what kind of this, and where you done, all he hear is a man talking to him. This is the conversation that he had with his male colleagues. This is even a conversation that he had with his female colleagues. See, he does not categorize female colleagues in the potential spouse category. They are colleagues. So this is the conversation that you are having. When you use words like partner, when you use words like, see, a lawyer in a law firm can become a partner. You understand what I'm saying? This is not what you do. But you can't help but say what's in your heart and what's in your head now. So you telling on yourself every time you talk to these men, and just because he's being cordial with you and he is being gentlemanly with you and he is showing you his masculinity, and it feels so good. Don't it feel good? Don't it feel good, Miss Ebony, when they open car doors and they smile at you and you just can just melt in their eyes, can't you? You can just see all the times that that the masculinity just gonna enrapture you. You could just hear, but see, when you talk to him, he's also hearing that a relationship is X's and O's for you, ones and zeros. It's a dang job. He don't hear the femininity. And I'm not talking about softening your voice and batting your eyelashes. That's not what I'm talking about. He doesn't hear the nurturer. He don't hear her. He don't hear the woman that's coming to beautify a world he has already built. He hear about a woman that want to come into that world like she been there to help him build it, and she gets a cut and she's gonna be a partner. No. That is not what they want to hear. It don't appeal to them. You understand? It don't appeal to them. Now she gonna say it later in here that she the type of woman that like if you're a man with a goal, she gonna help you get to that goal, but it don't look the way she think it look. You can't help him like his male friends or his male mentor might help him. That's not the kind of help that he need from you. I help my man too. I helps fulfill the rest of his vision and get to different places that he want to get to. I help him with that practically. I help him practically with it. He want me to send an email. He want me to do this. He want me to do that. All that kind of stuff. I do that. But I do it from a feminine space. I'm not telling him what his next move is. He tell me what the move is. I ain't told him now move yet. And I don't intend to. This is what I mean by don't problem solve for your husband. Don't do that. He got it. And when he delegate a task, and when he say, baby, go on over here, I want you to do this, blah, 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 whatever it is, I do it. That's the practical side. It's done from a feminine space. You know what else I do that's not so practical? I encourage and support. Yeah, baby, we gonna do this. Yeah, this is gonna work. Oh, this is awesome, baby. But there's a whole other side of a coin. Because those are still the X's and the O's of the relationship. And that's important. The logistics of your relationship is important. I'm not saying that's not important. But you know what? The other side of that relationship is that Ebony has missed. And boss chicks, while they focus on what a man got and what he don't got in his pocket, and what kind of trips they may or may not be. I don't know what's with all these trips. I don't know who's scheduling all these trips. I don't even understand that. But you know what else? The other thing that she missed. When I wake up in the morning and make us coffee and breakfast, and we sit down at that table and we talk about whatever. It could be a serious talk. It could be giggling. It don't matter. That part. That's the part. Because when we done with the X's and the O's, there's a time and a place for that talk. There's a time and a place to dot the I's and cross the T's. There's a time for that. But that's not going to make or break the relationship. Because if the X's and the O's and the dollar amounts made or break the relationship, if the relationship was only based on that, then her and that white man still be together. The other part is making coffee for your husband and sitting at the table and talking to him. And it's peaceful. It's not a contentious interaction, it's a loving one. Because when you're not talking X's and O's, when the bills get paid, now what? Now what? You got to interact with that man. You got to connect with that man. You got to emotionally connect to that man. I'm going to let her talk about this white man. It's going to go into overtime, but I ain't going to be, before I do that, I know I owe y'all a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to, Go ahead and hit the like button because I know I got a bunch of people in here. I know y'all ain't hit that like button. Let me get to these super chats here. Thank you. What's trending now? So education replaced their soul and they begin to think and talk like a computer. Love becomes facts and figures. They forget lust is ignorant. Ask sexy red. Thank you so much, Angelo. So assalamualaikum. Walaikum assalam. Keep telling the truth. Thank you so much. Thank you, JS said, why is it that a 14-year-old black girl in 1939 understood the value of a black man as a husband more than these modern boss chicks hyenas? I don't need no man unless he's rich. Didn't exist pre-WW2. Exactly. Thank you. Blue Exodus said, fam, you're exceptional in explaining things. Older women have less patience to build after a certain age. It's like older men have less patience for immature women after a certain age. She's too old, smart to have that mindset. Exactly. Thank you so much. Anissa said, random, saw a recent article easily Googled about Nicki Minaj regretting plastic surgery and getting a breast reduction. Can you do a short video on that? We may be able to do something like that. Thank you so much, Anissa. Thank you, Lewis said, all I want to know is how is these boss chicks' inability to find and keep a man become a man problem? Only one with a solution to that problem is the one they see in the mirror. Exactly. Thank you, Jeffrey said, Eboni K looks droopy dog in the video. You know what? Thank you, Common Man. In reality, I think she's afraid, so she lashes out. People who lash out for no reason are usually afraid of someone or something. Life is going to break her down. Then she may get it. Thank you again, Common Man. Said men don't talk about money with other men, Kendra, because men who are friends don't care how much money their friends have or don't have. We're just cool with each other. Thank you so much, Pharaoh. So Ebony voice sound more masculine than WWF China. Thank you so very much. I'm gonna let her talk about that white man. Cause see, y'all said droopy dog, and y'all know what?
Afraid because it's kind of Baldwin-esque, right? You know how Baldwin says in that famed debate with white boy, you are asking me to believe in an America that I have no evidence of seeing.
William Buckley.
Yes. A white boy.
Yes,
right.
yes. For sure.
And that's kind of how I felt in that moment. Like I hear you, I hear you, Iyanla, and I want to believe in this man coming to save us as Black women, but I've not seen the evidence of it.
Not seeing it.
Not even in my own family.
Right.
Not even my own father.
So then.
And then she says, would you date a bus driver?
And
and the whole shit went left.
No, it didn't go left with that. Mm-hmm. It went left as far as making it into a cultural moment.
Right.
When you said, if he owned the bus.
So you said I took it left.
I'm not saying left as a negative.
Yeah.
the response.
It's the response. So it wasn't the question. It was
the question made it an interesting moment, but the response then tapped into all these things that the generations and the genders are saying about dating. And I completely was with you. I was like, I'm
very curious to hear from, especially a married man.
Yeah.
And a family man, your perspective.
Well, I don't have a problem with a woman saying, I want to get as much as I can out of the dating market. And I aspire to somebody who owns a company rather than somebody who just works at a company. I thought you as a person, you're a multi-hyphenate. You're always doing 3 to 5 things at once. So that shows a lot of ambition and a lot of thought and able to flow in lots of different circles. If you, sir, are existing in one circle, I just drive this bus. There's nothing wrong with driving a bus, but you only do one thing. So you're showing a certain level of ambition, a certain level of comfort of just doing one thing, rather than being one of those people who's like, I need to think of something else and something else and something else. I can do more.
Which is not necessarily true. You can be one of those people not in the professional space. So just because in a man's profession, he's doing one thing, that doesn't mean he only has one interest. That doesn't mean that he only occupies his mind and his time with that one thing. It's just that that one thing is where he's at. It might even be where he wants to be, but that doesn't mean that he is not occupying his time, his energy, his thought into other areas. At one time, I was just an Uber driver. At one time, I was just a customer service rep. Before I move on, we got a nasty habit of trying to figure out what people do for a living so you can figure out how much you can respect or disrespect them based on what they do. We want to know, and I think it was actually Donnie Yen that said that. People only ask what you do for a living so that they can figure out how much respect to give you or not give you. Because someone could have easily said, you just drive Uber. As if I don't have a brain in my head. These might be some of the same people that's unable to do one of them timetable drill worksheets. You understand? Talking to me. You don't know what people do. You can't. This is why they said don't judge a book by its cover, because you don't know what people do. You don't know what people are interested in. You don't know what people know. You don't know what they know. You don't know what they know. You don't know where they've been. That's why you're supposed to treat folks with respect, no matter their profession. This is why you might not get a job, or you might not get into a relationship if you have an interview somewhere. If you have a job interview not in office, somebody want to talk to you, they want to do a business deal, not even a job. They want to do a business dealings with you. Y'all meet for lunch somewhere. You talk about your business dealings over lunch, and you act a fool with the waiter or the waitress because you think you stunting and showing out in front of the person that you doing business with, and a couple days later they hit you with the I'm moving in another direction. All because you decided that you were gonna have bad character and you was gonna act a fool with somebody based on how much value you put on them, and that was based solely on what they did for a living. If they even did it for a living. I didn't used to talk a whole lot with other Uber drivers, but sometimes I did because we would be at the airport parking lot. Ran into a man who drove Uber so he could relax because he likes driving. He said there's a little bit of stress to it, but I actually like driving and it's relaxing to me. He said, I don't need Uber for money. He said, I am retired in my 40s because I've started businesses, I own businesses, and I've sold businesses. He's like, I'm a multimillionaire. I don't need no money. I don't need any money. He said, but this relaxes me. I like riding around the city. I like talking to people. I like getting into people's head and seeing where they're going. And, you know, I'm a people person. So I like talking, and this gives me an opportunity to talk to people. Need no money. And people will disrespect him because they think he's just an Uber driver. Now, if they knew that he owned business and was a multimillionaire, they would try to give him some type of props and act differently towards him. No. Now, I think I want to let y'all hear her talk about this white man. The rest of this is so interesting.
So that's not a very good fit. Somebody who only does this one thing versus somebody who does 5.
But sis, if I can't be like, I don't know, like if I need to trust your judgment. I guess this is a judgment issue, Torre.
Can you say what happened with your fiance?
I can answer questions. What you want to know?
Why did you walk away?
I guess the 3 biggest answers. I walked away because we got to a place where I wanted to create family. And it was very clear we had a 13-year age gap in addition to being...
He's 13 years younger than you?
No, Negro. He was 13 years older than me. That was cute, though. He was 13 years older than me. In addition to our cultural gap, him being white presenting Jew, me being Black American, we had that age gap. He had 3 children.
I do have to be older than you to get a date with you.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's true.
Okay. So that you're like, it only has to be these 2 things. I have to be taller than you. I have to be older than you.
I'm 5'3", Torre. So come on.
Go on.
And yes, I can't imagine dating someone younger. And I really struggle with dating men my own age because I really am an old soul. Like, and I'm an only child, so I'm not accustomed to talking to peers. I'm used to talking up.
Only children are different in that way.
Yeah. I only engaged with adults since I was like 7. So, he was 13 years older. He had 3 boys, ages, I think like 10 to 15 when I met him. What became more and more clear as we went on in the relationship, it was 4 years total. He had his family. And he did not have an interest in creating new family with me or even expanded family with me.
You wanted family, and he's like, I've already done that.
Correct. And this is why one of the reasons that I'm having my child on my own.
Why?
Because the type of men that I am attracted to tend to fall into that category.
They've already had families.
They already have families. A lot of them have vasectomies right now, if we're just telling the truth about it.
Well, how many 45-year-old men have never been married and have no children? I mean, like most men have done at least one or the other.
So you're making, yes, okay, yeah, exactly.
Right? Most of the men you're going to date who are a little to a lot older than you,
right, have already done that. They've already started their families, and most of them have already completed their families.
Right.
And they're not interested at 48 or 52 or 55, which is my new cap, of staying up with a newborn.
I can't be any older than 55.
And that's new. It used to be that you could be, but I found that that's now it's getting caretakerish.
So 45 to 55?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that man is not trying to stay up with a newborn all night. No. And who could blame him, by the way? I dig it too.
I did it.
Oh, you did it.
I did it.
Yeah, you already did it.
Yeah,
so you're not doing it again.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's one of the reasons that I find that we ended, because he did not want more family. And I love you to death. He loved me. We did not have a love problem.
Right.
We had a we don't want the same thing problem.
Right.
Another problem we had was he did not do, to me, an effective job of requiring a certain level of space and respect from his semi-adult children. So by the time our relationship was on its tail end, his oldest two boys were like 19 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
And they just weren't very respectful young men, which, you know.
They weren't respectful to you?
They weren't respectful to women, period.
But your family.
No, he didn't do that, though, Torre. That's what I'm saying. He didn't.
Did they say wild shit to you?
They just talked wild. They were teenage boys, and they talk crazy, you know. And then, frankly, there's the cultural gap, right? Where, you know, sometimes white people kids talk different. You get me in so much trouble, by the way. But anyway, you're like, I'm not doing anything. But it's true. But also, I think kids just are different these days. So I did not feel, because I feel like the children follow suit to the adult leadership, right?
For sure.
These kids will respect me exactly as much as you require them to. Speaking to my fiance at the time. And he was a bit afraid of his own children.
Mm-mm. Let me translate all of that. You was a black Niggerbitch. You knew that and he knew that. You didn't think that he was going to treat you as such, but he did. She was right in saying that the boys was only going to respect her to the level that they were required to, and he did not require them to respect her as anything other than an Niggerbitch, that he was clapping her cheeks. First off, I don't even know why she trying to make some type of distinction of white presenting Jew. He's a white boy. And him being a quote unquote Jew only made it worse. Because listen, let me say, unpopular opinion, but it's facts. Mr. Cartwright and all of his people are culturally racist. They culturally prejudiced and racist. They don't have to feel no type of specific way about you in particular. Okay? They may not have no animosity towards you specifically. But culturally, their culture is white supremacy. That's their culture. So there will always be instances where him being Mr. Cartwright gonna trump everything. Do you understand? There are always going to be instances where the fact that he is Mr. Cartwright is going to trump everything. Now, you may not agree with that, but all you got to do is just look at it historically. You can work with Mr. Cartwright. You can have career with Mr. Cartwright. You can have even like a interpersonal kind of acquaintanceship or friendship with him. But there will always be times and situations where he's Mr. Cartwright and you ain't. And he not gonna be scared to let it be like that. And it won't be no hard feelings. There will be times and situations where it will become more important that he's Mr. Cartwright and you, in fact, are not. You're not Mr. Cartwright and you're not Mrs. Cartwright. And he ain't gonna be scared to let you know that that's what it is. And you can feel however you want to feel about that. You can feel however you want to feel about that. And at the end of the day, he Mr. Cartwright and you ain't. You understand that? It don't matter. It don't matter how many drinks y'all had together. It don't matter how y'all kicked it. It don't matter if y'all made money together. It don't matter what you've done. There is no amount of going through nothing together that's gonna erase when it all come down to it that he Mr. Cartwright and you ain't. Okay. Miss Ebony, you're not Mrs. Cartwright. He wasn't scared of his kids. He just didn't care what they said to you. They probably got somewhere and laughed at you so many times behind your back it wasn't funny. He probably called you all kind of stuff in front of his kids, and that's why when they got around you, you was just the butt of you was an inside joke in their family. He wasn't having no kids with you because he not finna have that little he wasn't finna have that little niglet with you. You understand that? He wasn't it wasn't just because he was an older man and he didn't want to have kids. He wasn't about to have that little niglet with you. His family wasn't about to accept that. Because what if it come out and it looked like a niglet? How's he going to explain that? No. He's not trying to have that no little nappy headed little he was not trying to have no little nappy headed pickaninny with you. That man didn't want you for nothing more than what he had you for. Cheek clapping. It was a little bit of a fetish. You didn't come in too Afrocentric. You see what I'm saying? You got your little light skin thing going, and so it's always one cute enough that they'll take to the bed with them. He never had no intention of making you no wife and doing nothing else to legitimize your relationship with him. So that's why when it was over, he was like, no sweat off his nose. Wasn't no lint off his yarmulke, baby. Huh. Go ahead on back to the hood. Even though you wasn't even out the hood. He called himself, sent you back to it. The problem is y'all. Why did I look over to the chat just in time to see this? Y'all better leave me alone. I know I went overtime. I want to hit this little point before I go. I'm going to hit this little point. Stop it with the trips. Stop that. What am I talking about? Stop it with talking about a man gotta have money so y'all can go on trips. Cause it ain't nobody. I don't care how many millions of dollars. I don't care if they do got time. There ain't nobody booking all these trips. That's not even real. There is nobody every couple of months planning out no flights and booking no trips to nowhere. Do you understand me? Y'all chicks better stop that. Well, we gotta have a go. Ain't nobody going on no trip. A vacation is once and again. Once and again. There ain't nobody every couple weeks, every couple months. You know, we getting plane tickets together and jet setting off and stuff. And you got to show up at the airport, deal with TSA, get your bag, and you got to check in. Ain't nobody doing that. All that's hectic. It's frustrating. Men that have means and stuff like that is not always somewhere standing in somebody's airport trying to go no dang on well, especially if it ain't making no money. You find somebody, if your profession or whatever you doing takes you from here to there sometime, you go to this city, that city, that's fine. What you do is you bring your wife with you on the business trip sometime, and then what you do is you book for a couple more days. So if the business that you're going to tend to ain't but 1 or 2 days, let's say it don't take but 1 or 2 days to take care of it, what you do is you book about 3-4 days. You understand? And then after you get done with your business and stuff like that, you take your wife around, especially if it's somewhere she ain't never been. When you go around, you might have a little dinner or something like that. You make a little memory out of it, and then go home. Ain't nobody got time for that all day. Every time you turn around, you know how much money that is? If I'm not writing them trips off as a business trip on my taxes, is a complete waste. Complete waste of money. Nobody going around all them times trying to, and then you want to stay at the at the bougie hotel. You can't get nothing less than 4-5 stars. You want to stay at the Windsor and all. You're girl. You can't go out of town unless you're staying at the Waldorf. Thank you, Gregory says. I get old and I listen to these conversations among these type of black men and black women. It makes me ask myself, what is the benefit of the community for disciplined, focused, ethical, and rational black men? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There, I said it, for your contribution. Thank you, Dwadley, for your contribution as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carmen said, I learned the hard way. It's best to have the money and live like I don't, because if some people find out how much money I have, they either scam or change who they are personally. So I stay calm. And thank you, Original Man said she hit the wall. I see grays in her hair. Thank you, Queen said, why do people brag about multitasking and being distracted by doing several things at once, being stressed and too busy to focus on enjoying life? Jack of all trades, master of none. Thank you, Jonathan, saying the words of KS, the juice just ain't worth the squeeze. What's sad for these women? This is only a first world problem. Don't know how good they have it. Thank you, Simon. Said Ebony lost the ability to be nurturing when she concluded, probably very early in life, that black men would not be able to provide for her. She a single child. She's our only child with daddy issues. That's a whole red flag. Thank you again, Pharaoh. Said we need a vid on you explaining Cartwright dynamics. Thank you, Humble Introvert. Said facts. Thank you, Frederick, for the roses. And thank you, Travel Dazzle. Says it's been much better for us keeping money in our pockets and going on as many trips as we like, but not with them. I'm done with you, Miss Nicole. Do you understand that? Do you understand I'm done with you? So they take group vacations, stay in one room, then take turns recording each other in luxury. Do you understand that I am done with you? Listen. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.